Hi, I'm Paul of the Head Trevor YouTube channel. I'm also Norwich's first vegan personal trainer. Just to give you my background, I was the last person many people would expect to go vegan. Being a bodybuilder and buying into the usual lies that were told by the fitness industry, I would eat my way through a 10-kilogram box of chicken breasts each week. Every day I would cram in tuna, eggs and steak, and wash it all down with 6 pints of milk and several scoops of whey protein. Quiet, please. At the time, I was working as a doorman and was also heavily into martial arts, so size and strength were extremely important to me. To those ends, I would do anything and everything in order to progress. Eventually, I was eating 500 grams of animal protein a day, the equivalent of about 17 chicken breasts. Then one day, my partner Gemma, seated here, lucky man I am, was researching the link between nutrition and disease to try and help with her thyroid disorder. I remember her looking at me with fear in her eyes. "You need to change," she said. Not likely, I thought. I gotta keep making these gains. I was intrigued though, so I had a look at the book she was reading. The China study by T. Colin Campbell outlines a 20-year-long China-Cornell-Oxford project which surveyed 6,500 people throughout 130 villages in rural China. It is the largest study ever undertaken on the link between disease and nutrition. The book also cites hundreds of other scientific papers to back up its claims. On investigation, I too became concerned for my health. Page after page of studies and experiments showing how even a small amount of animal products typically leads to one of the illnesses that we now term diseases of affluence, the diseases we tend to suffer and die from here in the West. Heart disease, cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, the list goes on. In the book is a chart showing a range of different countries across the bottom. On the far left are the richer nations, including places like America, and to the right the poorer countries such as Laos and Thailand. The green lines show the percentage of whole plant foods that they eat, nearly hitting the top of the graph on the right, but trading quickly down the further left you go. The red lines show the percentage of deaths from heart disease and cancer. It is a total inverse relationship. The more meat, dairy, eggs and fish that we eat, the more likely we will be diagnosed with one of these killer degenerative diseases. I eat more animal products than anyone I know, I thought. That was the wake-up call I needed. I'd always eaten the foods I thought best for my goals, rather than for taste, so immediately dropping the majority of animal products wasn't a problem. Thinking that historically humans have been eating animal products, I was concerned that maybe there's a nutrient in them that we can't get any other way. So I kept in 2 servings of organic grass-fed beef per week and 3 of wild salmon. 5 days a week I eat a serving of this fish or meat in my evening meal. The other 2 days I was completely vegan. Initially I ate a high fruit diet throughout the day. I was immediately amazed at how much more energy I had. By the time the evening came, I was ready to eat something more savoury. Then one day, something changed. I'd lovingly prepared a homemade beef burger using only the finest lean mince, diced onion, sea salt and cracked black pepper. I'd cooked it to perfection on my trusty George Foreman grill. I took a bite, but felt instantly disgusted. It felt greasy in my mouth. I chewed and chewed, but it didn't seem to be going anywhere. So dry and unpalatable. I wished I was eating my delicious, sweet, juicy fruit. Should I ditch the animal products altogether? I thought to myself. I never did like the taste of fish anyway. Gemma's health was certainly blossoming. She'd finally gotten relief from the condition she'd been battling with for almost the last decade. Instead of being drained and depressed, she was now vibrant, positive, and full of energy. I reread the China study and watched video after video on Dr. Michael Greger's nutritionfacts.org. Not only does it seem that even the smallest amount of animal products can harm us, but there is no essential nutrient in animal products that is not easily supplied by plants. That was it. I was now fully vegan. In the last 4 years, the strength of my eyesight has improved by more than double. I've cured my severe hay fever and the tendinitis that would plague me from all the heavy lifting and bag punching. Far from being a detriment to my athleticism, I find it just as easy to put on muscle, much easier to drop fat, and recover from exercise far more quickly. Despite needing to have some botched knee surgery redone, I can now leg press 400 kilos, pain-free. As of January 2015, I decided to market myself as a vegan PT, a decision I did not make lightly. My head said stay mainstream, you might not make any money, but following my heart turned out to be the best decision I could have made. There's been such a boom in veganism that people often tell me I'm the busiest trainer in the city. My clients have seen excellent health benefits: asthma, type 2 diabetes, liver disease and arthritis, all reversed by nutrition and exercise alone. So, I dropped all the animal products from my life. What do I recommend eating? Well, following suit from the pioneering plant-based doctors in America, Dean Ornish, Cordwell Esselstyn, Neil Barnard, Garth Davis and John McDougall, to name but a few. I promote a high-carb, low-fat diet of whole foods. Fruit, vegetables, whole grains and legumes making up the bulk, with a small amount of overt fats coming from nuts and seeds. There is a special emphasis on chia and flax seeds. Although the essential fatty acids, omega-6 and 3, must both be consumed, it's important that people not get too much of the pro-inflammatory omega-6 relative to omega-3. There is science to suggest that a 1-to-1 ratio may be more beneficial to a vegan, given that they eat so little of the preformed long-chain omega-3s found in things like fish, for example. But who wants to eat products laden with toxic heavy metals? Because everything is so sterile in our world now, it can be important for a vegan to supplement vitamin B12, which comes from bacteria. Omnivorous eaters typically get B12 from the supplement that was given to the animals they consume, so the need for supplementation is no reason not to go vegan. In fact, around 39% of Westerners are B12 deficient, so it can be a good thing for many to take. If we're not lucky enough to be living in the tropics and getting lots of sun year-round, then a vitamin D3 tablet can be a good addition too. Vitamin D is found in small quantities in animal products, but is always accompanied by the saturated fat and cholesterol that are so deleterious to good health. Other than those couple of things, as long as we're eating a good range of whole plant foods, then we should be good to go. The 2 blood tests I've had done since going vegan showed every nutrient bang at the top of range. We've touched on the health benefits of going vegan. What about the benefits to athletic performance? Well, for one thing, the human body needs to be slightly alkaline, and animal products are highly acidifying. Were we to become too acidic, eventually acidosis would occur and we would die. But the body is clever. If blood pH drops, then alkaline minerals and other nutrients will be directed into our blood to act as a buffer. On the downside, glutamine, the most abundant amino acid in human muscle tissue, will be ripped out. In the younger person with higher levels of testosterone, this is of little concern. But studies now show that as people age and their testosterone diminishes, it can no longer offset the damage. And so muscle wastage occurs much faster in meat and dairy eaters than in vegans. Because this acid buffering also uses up dietary calcium, it can also cause osteoporosis and eventually arthritis. Despite disinformation about dairy being important for bones, it turns out that the countries with the largest consumption of milk, yogurt and cheese in fact have the most incidences of hip fracture, the #1 indicator of bone density. Being alkaline is also very anti-inflammatory, improving muscle function and therefore strength and stamina, reducing pain and speeding recovery times. The human intestine is not designed for meat or fish, and so lots of it ends up getting stuck there. The vegan athlete won't have this weighing them down. Plant foods are vastly more nutritious than animal products. Many bodybuilders, for example, think in terms of protein, carbs and fat, forgetting that there are a myriad of micronutrients essential for good health and athletic performance. And lastly, a high-carb, low-fat, whole foods vegan diet is the only diet in the world proven to reverse the atherosclerosis that furs up our blood vessels. By age 10, it is said anyone eating an omnivorous diet will have started forming the fatty streaks in their arteries, veins and capillaries that are the bedrock of this plaque formation. Not only can this lead eventually to heart attack, stroke, erectile dysfunction, that's mostly in the guys, and where did I get to? Multiple sclerosis. But for the athlete, as the flow of blood is impeded, so too is oxygen delivery to and waste product elimination from the working muscles. So you can easily see how this is a detriment to performance. Despite our number being so few, there are now world-class vegan athletes in every sport. Last year, I was lucky enough to meet 2014 Mr. Universe and bodybuilding legend, Barney Duplessis. We became training partners and I witnessed firsthand the results of his switch to a vegan diet. He too remarked on the energy boost, saying before he would always be very groggy and lethargic in the mornings, but now springs out of bed revitalised and ready to attack the day. He also remarked on his drastically reduced DOMS, the delayed onset muscle soreness associated with lifting heavy weights. Towards the end of last year, I had Norwich City Football Club captain and Scotland international Russell Martin come to see me for a nutrition plan. He had gone pescatarian already and was pleased he no longer suffered frequent headaches after dropping out meat from his diet. He noted that his athletic performance had improved too and was wondering if there were still more benefits to be had. He was right. After going vegan, he cured his ulcerative colitis and in testing happily reports benefits to many of his athletic markers. Other noteworthy vegan athletes include Jeanette Murray-Wakelin and husband Alan, who completed a marathon a day for 366 consecutive days. They were 64 and 68 years of age at the time. What's even more remarkable is that Jeanette cured her cancer with diet alone. Alan too reversed disease and went from obese to athlete with the same 80-10-10 diet of purely raw fruits and vegetables. There's endurance athlete Scott Jurek, the fastest man to complete the grueling 3,500 kilometre Appalachian Trail. 2009 Barclays free running world champion and winner of multiple Ninja Warrior tournaments, Tim Sheep. Arm wrestling champ, judoka and Olympic bobsleigh gold medalist, Alexei Voivoda. The NFL has a 300-pound vegan lineman, Jamie Carter. In the world of combat sports, we now have a vegan UFC champion. Nate Diaz schooled the highly favoured Conor McGregor, who just couldn't handle Nate's blistering pace. In the world of boxing, Britain's own David Haye won his last couple of fights in convincing style. Former Germany's strongest man, Patrick Bavunian, has broken 4 world records as a vegan. We have a yoke in my gym, a kind of A-frame that can be loaded with weights that the athlete carries across their shoulders for distance. Whatever weight people can manage in the gym, I always delight in telling them, Patrick Bavunian can carry 550 kilos on that. Did you know he's vegan? Plant-based sports nutrition is still seriously underrated and scoffed at by the uneducated masses. Happily, this is all set to change in January next year when the multi-million dollar film The Game Changers debuts at the Cannes Film Festival. Oscar winner Luis Ahoyos is the director, and even James Cameron is in on the act as the executive producer. The crew has flown all over the world to film top athletes, world-leading scientists, and even special ops soldiers to get the facts of what is truly achievable when we fuel our bodies as nature intended. To finish, I'd like to add that more and more people are now recognising that we don't need to harm animals in order to be well. In fact, the reverse is true. The new president of the American College of Cardiology, Kim Williams, says that there are now 2 types of cardiologists: vegans and those that haven't yet read the data. People are recognising too that the health of the planet is fast reaching crisis point. Animal agriculture is the #1 cause of rainforest destruction and greenhouse gas emissions. I usually end my YouTube videos with the saying, "Go vegan for victory." Today in summation, I'm saying be vegan for your health, to save the planet and the animals, and to keep making those plant-based gains. Thanks for having me. Like and subscribe.
Thank you very much.